Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you have been following the channel long enough and seen some of my trolling videos, you've probably seen me out in this boat trolling for lake trout and salmon. This is the boat we have up at camp. This is our family boat. It's a Lund Rebel 1650 XS with the full console with the enclosure. And today we're going to be doing a bunch of upgrades to this boat. If you guys have seen some of my trolling videos, you may have seen me in the Polarcraft boat that I have that we call the Trout Tracker. That thing was pretty decked out, had a full Traxstech system, a Minn Kota trolling motor with spot lock, nice electronics, pretty much all set to go. And this thing pretty much has nothing. It has some old electronics and some crappy rod holders. So I've basically stripped everything off from the Polarcraft boat and it's all going on here. So the reason I did that is because I've decided to sell the Trout Tracker. We're selling the camo Polarcraft, but basically I wasn't using it enough. I use this boat way more and I got bigger and better plans. So the trolling motor that was on here before was just a run-of-the-mill basic Minn Kota trolling motor, cable driven. It was kind of sucked. So I've got the Trova we're gonna put on here, has spot lock, which is gonna be great because I want to do some jigging for lake trout with this year. And also putting new electronics on here because the electronics on this blew up on me last year and stopped working. We're putting the whole Traxstech system on here, relocating the downriggers, new rod holders, all of it. And we also got a bunch of lithium battery stuff we're going to put on from Power Queen. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to go deck this boat out. And then in the spring, which will be just a few minutes after we're done with this, we'll go out and try it all out and see how it works. So let's jump into it and get started. All right, so this is the little spacer that I had built to fit on my boat, which I don't need that. This will fit nice and flush right on this little bow plate here. I just gotta drill some holes and figure out exactly where I want this. It's like the worst time of day to be filming stuff too. Yep. I think that's kind of where I gotta mount this. I don't want that sticking out and hitting the dock, so I think that's where she's gonna go. So let's get up here, drill these holes, and get the thing screwed in. So that's all mounted. This boat has a plug right here. I just wired this into my trolling motor. Let's see. Power. Hey, there we go. Now, one of the things I'm super excited about to finally add to this boat is a decent battery for the trolling motor. And to run that Trova, it's a 12-volt system. So you don't need much, just one battery, but it does have iPilot and you know, it does use up some battery. So for years I've been running it off this smaller little lead acid battery, but we finally got some lithium batteries for this boat, or a lithium battery to run the trolling motor. Power Queen sent me this 100 amp hour 12 volt battery with low temperature charging protection, and this thing is sick. It's like half the weight of lead acid battery. And they also sent me a charger here. You gotta have a special charger for lithium batteries. We're gonna try to hook all this stuff up. Hopefully it all fits, because this is an older, little bit of an older boat, and hopefully they got room for this big battery. All right, so let's open this up. This is where the battery lives for the trolling motor, underneath these rods. So let me dig around. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, little mouse nest. That's cool. Get this battery out of here. Might have to put that other battery sideways. Oh my god, that thing is heavy. Oh. Jeez. Oh my god, this thing is so much lighter. I'm not even just saying that. Oh yeah, it'll fit perfect in there. Sweet. But also, one thing I really like about these batteries, these little plastic caps that they put over the top now, makes it easy to do it by hand. crank that down, soldier boy. Okay. Plug our charger into that. Boom. Leave that right there, and then we can plug it in and charge it whenever we want. All right, so now we're gonna go on to these Traxstech track systems, rod holders and stuff. So it should fit, that's where the bimini hooks, it should fit from here back about the same length as my boat, so it shouldn't be a problem. This is where the downriggers are mounted on these little mounts here, but they're kind of hard to move, so they're always just stationary right on the back of the boat. And I hate having it way back there. It'd be nice to slide the downrigger up here if I'm just downrigger fishing, because I got to get on this thing back here and lean over the back of the boat. It's a little sketchy. So we're going to do that. We're going to pop these off. And I did have to get these Lund mounts. These are the 45-degree mounts that bolt to this and hook into the track system here on the Lund. And if you guys have an older boat like I did that this came off from with just a gunnel mount that doesn't have a track system, you can get these things here. I'll link all this stuff down in the description below, because Traxstech has some really sweet stuff if you're really into trolling and you want to get set up. So these are pretty easy. Literally just screw them right into the pre-drilled holes. This side worked, the other side I'm gonna have to figure something else out, but you can see my last mount right here would not go. And I didn't want to have to move the bimini and mess that up, so I moved it as far back as forward. I just didn't put it on, but man, that thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. The other thing that's kind of too bad is now I've kind of made that cleat there unusable. But I already thought of that, and we got these that slide right into the track system here from Traxstech. And then on the end I put these little mounts so nothing can ever come off of here. Found the right size. I'm gonna crank these right down so they don't move. Just like that. I've got my net holder, my ratcheting rod holders. You guys have probably seen these. You can have your rod out like that. When a fish grabs it, grab around to this, pull it up, pull your rod out, done. So net holder, rod tube, got the Scotty mount, which I can take this right off if I don't want this in the way. I can slide it up. I can also slide my downrigger way up here now. If I'm fishing with downriggers, I can just be a little bit more safe, because having them way back here on the back was a little sketchy. And I don't know how many times I smoked my knee off of that thing or slipped on that carpet. This side, I got a problem with the gas cap. So I'm gonna have to do something. I'll probably have to either take that track system and cut it, or buy two smaller pieces. And I might just cut that because I own it now, and why not? All right, so this one's gonna need to get cut, absolutely. That's just what's gonna happen. It's right in the way of the gas cap, so I basically gotta cut a chunk out of here. I'm gonna try to cut it like here, and then somewhere up in here, and that way we have room for the gas cap to open, because, dumb design by Lund to put that right there. You can't put a track system on there, so. Now, I guess we'll go chop this thing, see how that goes. Well, it worked. All right, pretty straight. So I'm actually out in the boat right now, so disregard that, because this is later in the video, but I forgot to show how I actually did this. So I cut this piece here to get around the gas fill up. And I got the cleat back here, and I put the downrigger on this bigger piece because they recommend having a longer piece to run your downrigger. Like, that's not enough. So this is plenty. It's plenty solid, and it seemed to work out all right. Next on the list, I gotta replace this old Humminbird. She burnt out on me last year, and I took the Helix 7 off my boat, and we're gonna put that on. It's gonna be a big upgrade as far as that's concerned, but also a huge pain in the dick because all the wires are inside of here. I'm gonna have to take all this apart, somehow thread wires through, make it look all nice, come out and put our transducer down here. So you guys that are a lot smarter than me, do you think that the power cable from the old Humminbird fish finder, it's an older unit, but it's the same power cable, it plugs in and it turns on, should I just run that? Is there any harm in running that? It looks like it's the same exact cable. I don't know. I'm just gonna try it. I'm not even sure how they routed that. I guess it must go up into this switch panel. I'd rather just leave it alone because it worked fine. So I only have to route the transducer cable. Well, I didn't show you guys the whole mess, but it wasn't that bad. I just had to thread some string through there when I pulled out the old one. I didn't have to take much apart. Wired up the new one, she's good to go. One last thing before we put the boat in the water. I'm putting these downrigger brakes on. These are being sold by Northeast Troller right here in Maine. They're made right in the USA, right in Maine. And it's just a manual handbrake for your downrigger. So it saves your clutch on your downrigger, and it also, you know, helps you kind of feather that weight down. So I'm gonna pop these on and we'll try them out this year. So one thing I forgot to add in the video is that I usually use these drift socks so I can get down a little bit slower trolling earlier in the year. And what I did on my old boat is I just mounted them to the windshield that I built. But here I used these old rod holder brackets and just made a little angle piece, made a little eye bolt, put it on there, and then we can drag bags and control them right there, and it gets us down to where we need to be. So these I actually had my Big John rod holders mounted to. They were a better option than what came with this boat. They were kind of plastic, crappy rod holders, so I wanted something better, so I bought these mounts on Amazon. I'll link them down below because they do work well with the Lund track system, and you can put all kinds of different rod holders and stuff in these. They're pre-drilled, so it worked really well with that Big John. I had one on each side and it worked pretty good, and now we got the drift socks rigged up to them. This downrigger here, I have like a 10-pound ball on here, I think, and I use this mostly for lake trout fishing when I'm fishing pretty deep. This handle here runs the kind of the clutch in this spool, and it can really take off on you here if you got a lot of weight. So I'll show you. And then you stop it real quick with this and it can bounce and your line can snap off. So now that we got these downrigger brakes on here, we can kind of use that to feather the spool. So I can just put my hand right on there, I can loosen the spool right up, I can drop it down, stop it, slow it down, and then I can engage it. So works pretty good. So far, everything's working pretty good with the Traxstech system here. It's all pretty solid. Downriggers are working good. Really like having my net holder back. It gets that off the floor and out of the way. And I really like using these ratcheting rod holders as well. We got a fish on here or no? Yeah, we do. It's got a double right there. 2 lake trout. Doesn't want to come in though. There we go. Okay, we got him. Well, this Helix 7's working way better than that other unit did. Way more accuracy, I think, to it. And it's got a bigger screen. I can kind of dual screen it, and I don't know, just a better image, and it actually works, and the buttons work. All right, I guess I'll end this video here. That wraps up some of the upgrades we're gonna do to the Lund. Again, most of these came off my my boat, my personal boat that I sold, so they're going on here and we'll be able to use them up at camp all the time. So this wasn't really a fishing video. I have caught a few fish, but if you guys subscribe, if you haven't already, I'm gonna be posting some trolling content here. The trolling motor worked great. We're gonna be using that probably later this year, jigging for some lake trout, maybe some smallmouth fishing around the lake. So that'll be awesome to have. Let me know what you guys think down in the description below. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them. A lot of you guys shoot me emails and questions and stuff on how I set my boat up and specific questions about this and that. So just leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. There we go. There's a fish. Into the bridge. Okay. It looks like a little splaky.